Welcome to another episode of the Sipping and Tripping podcast, where we connect with amazing people. Today's topic is helping women date and find true love. I am your host, Desmond Black, and the person that's sipping and tripping with me today is someone who helps successful women love dating and find true love. She is none other than Miss Lilli Bewley. Did I say that correct?
Bewley, like Bueller.
Oh, Bewley.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. So, how you doing and how's your week so far?
Hey, Desmond. I am great. I'm excited to have this conversation here with you, and I'm super excited to see where this conversation goes. And I want to know, what are you? I was going to say, what are you tripping on, or what are you sipping on right now?
Oh, actually, my juice is over there. I forgot to grab that. But so when I first started this podcast, I used to drink. I don't drink anymore. I haven't drank for a little bit over a year.
Mm-hmm.
It's been better for me that way because in
Yeah.
the beginning, my first maybe like 10 episodes, the longer it went on, the more intoxicated I got. Even though I was like, I'm just sipping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it always caught up to me. So watching the replay, I was like, ouch. So
Is that why you stopped?
no, it's other things that reasons why I stopped, but it's better for the brain. I'm able to enunciate better and get
Yeah.
things out clearly. So and I've been getting more respect that way. People
Mm.
take me more serious. So yeah. Here we are.
Okay. I
Not,
hear it.
not saying I won't ever drink again, but right now I'm good.
Yeah. It sounds like it's been a journey. So that's good. That's good.
Yeah. So do you have your own podcast? And if so, what's it called and where can we find it?
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's the Lilli Bewley podcast. You can find it anywhere you can find your podcasts. Been doing that podcast for a hot minute now, since 2018. So have had some really great guests on the show. I open up to my community free coaching calls for that show. So if a woman has burning questions about dating and none of the other kind of options that I have work for her, then that's an option that I have for my community as well. So I coach women through whatever is blocking them, but then sometimes I just have solo episodes where I chat a little bit about what I'm reflecting on or what's happening with me in the moment.
That's nice. That's nice. It's crazy. You said solo. Like I've thought about doing solos and couple last year, some of my guests were a little flaky and people was like, it's about consistency. So if people drop out
Mhm.
last minute, you should do a solo. And I was like, I'm a natural talker, but I don't know about talking by myself without any feedback. Maybe one of these days I try it, but yeah, not right now.
Yeah,
but,
well,
but
podcasting is a whole journy, I
it,
feel like.
it is. It's a whole
Yeah.
lifestyle, So
Yeah. How long have you had your podcast?
I think June of 2024.
June 2024. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's
so I got some time in. And I used to be a little bit more consistent than I am now. Well, I've been consistent lately, but it's hard with work. In my
Mhm.
field, in the restaurant industry, it's not easy with the schedules. So I know
Mhm.
a lot of my guests is like, oh, you don't have a calendar, so we can book our own time. I'm like, I don't have it because it's hard. My schedule is always changing.
Mhm.
And as a kitchen manager, they say you're required to work 50-hour weeks, but if you work
Mhm.
55, it just complicates things. So it's hard for me to say, okay, I'm these days. So
Yeah, I hear you. I've been in restaurants myself, and then yeah, it can be hard to be consistent, but yeah, it's a whole I've definitely been through a whole journey with podcasting about, talking about, solo episodes and yeah, I had to do a lot of healing actually inside of myself about what it means to be seen and what it means to be heard and what it means to speak up and take space and all those things. So yeah, it's been a journey. So I hope that you're, part of this, I feel like is for me, it's always about self-discovery. It's about what it means, like I said, what it means to be seen, what it means to be heard, what it means, or what the fear means, if you kind of
right.
get down really deep about that too. So
Yeah, I got you. Like I said, it serves many purposes, like I don't get out much, so this allows me to engage with other people and conversate. I love thought-provoking conversations, and I love
Yeah.
getting different perspectives on certain things. So it's good. This allows me to stretch my mind and work out my mind a little bit more. So I
Yeah.
love it. I love it.
That's
But
awesome.
all right, so on this platform, I like to conversate, educate, and entertain. And with that being said, I know we got a great conversation coming. So the first thing I want to talk about is feminine dating archetypes, right?
Mm.
So I guess the first question I'm gonna ask you is, what are your feminine dating archetypes?
Yeah. Thanks for asking. So let me ask you this first, Desmond. Do you think more women or men listen to your show, or do you know or watch your show?
Um, 100% women.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You said you'll stick with women. Is that what you said? You broke up a little bit.
Oh no, I said 100% women.
Oh, 100% women. Okay. Okay. So I just
Yeah,
wanted to make
yeah.
sure that we're kind of talking to most of your audience. So it seems like that most of your audience is women. So what are the feminine dating archetypes? The feminine dating archetypes are a framework that was kind of, I don't know if you're spiritual, Desmond, or if you're connected to God or anything like that, but it was God kind of talking to me and telling me that I needed to start talking about these different phases and these different aspects and the journey that women go through when um they're kind of going through dating and patterns in dating inside of themselves and outside of themselves that they can't figure out. And this came from my journey. If you can't tell already, I'm very inner focused. I'm focused on healing. I'm focused on transformation, focused on the inner world, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. What happens inside of us when we maybe have been through some stuff in life, whether that be abuse and trauma, or maybe haven't had really great examples like myself, of a healthy, spiritual, really connected and loving relationship. And then going through the process of becoming an adult and going out into the world and dating and finding patterns inside of self or outside, like with other people, maybe not attracting healthy relationships, or maybe quote unquote telling yourself, because I used to tell myself this all the time and I used to joke about it, that I was bad at relationships and that I was bad at communication. And over time, what I realized is that I finally got to the point where I was just tired of being sick and tired. I was tired of attracting the same type of person. I was tired of self-sabotaging. I was tired of self-abandonment. I was tired of having these behaviors that I knew that they were bad, but I couldn't control them, because I feel
Right.
like a lot of people try to control these things and they just can't. And really kind of going through this process of healing inside of myself. And that's kind of where the feminine dating archetypes formed. They formed with like a step-by-step journey of who I became as a woman, and really becoming this version of myself that I kind of always felt that was there, but I never could figure out how to do it, and attracting the best man that I've ever known in my life. But so much better than the examples that I was given, so much better than the type of person that I was very used to attracting, and then really attracting the safest man that I've ever known, the best man I've ever known, the man that helps me and supports me and cheers me on and really like helps me become a better version of myself every day, really. Um so that, like, the feminine dating archetypes is a framework on a step-by-step journey on how I got there, and then I started to take my clients through the same journey. And so, you know, if anyone out there, if you're a woman and you're dating and you're seeing patterns inside of yourself and outside of yourself that you are wanting to understand better, that's where the feminine dating archetypes, that's what the value is. And the value with it is you go in and you take a quiz and it'll tell you okay, you are this type of woman, like the chill woman. You are the chill woman. And this is what I think that you have the opportunity to heal in order to get to the next level and the next stage. So in my communities, we talk about ascension, like ascending to the next level, and we talk about up leveling inside self so you can up level on the outside of you. And so that's what it's all about.
Okay, okay. Now, I wasn't familiar with the feminine dating archetypes, right? So, thanks to Google, I punched that in, and it said it's 7 different types. Is there more,
Mm.
or is it 7?
Well, funny enough, Desmond, I have never Googled that before.
Oh, for real?
So it's yeah. So it's interesting. I'm gonna go Google it. But it's actually 4 from where I'm sitting. So I'm curious on if it was somebody else's archetypes maybe, or now I would just
Right,
really want to plug it in to Google slash ChatGPT or whatever, whatever kind of system that you use. But
right.
in our community, it's 4. But now I am
Gotcha.
curious. What are you pulling up on your phones? Now I want to see.
Oh, the 7 dating feminine dating archetypes.
Okay,
Uh,
cool. Sounds like I need to correct AI. Okay, I see. 7 feminine dating archetypes and 13. Okay. So
yeah,
the framework that we do over in my community is there
right.
are 4.
Gotcha.
Um, so there are 4 different phases, 4 different kind of levels in the journey from where we're sitting. And it starts with the chill woman for us, and then it goes to the fortress woman, and then the goddess woman, and then the magnetic woman. And the magnetic woman is like the target in the journey. That's like
Gotcha.
where a woman reaches this level of transformation inside of herself where she kind of becomes the woman that I believe, I say God, or you can say whatever word that you want, where I think God is calling her to be. And
Right,
that's like a place of a very aligned sense of self. It's where her worth, and her confidence isn't overly confident, but is just in a way like an alignment. It's an inner alignment where she's a magnet, and she attracts naturally everything in life that she's looking to call in, whether that be relationship, whether that be money, whether that be aligned and purposeful um, job or purpose or business or friendships or even a closer relationship with God. Um, and it's all about the inner transformation. And so that's where we sit. So the 7 is not ours, but we have the 4.
gotcha. So, is having a feminine archetype empowering, or is it just performing a scripted role for male validation?
Ooh, that's a good question. Is it having a feminine dating archetype? Is it performing, or is it performing a scripted role for male validation? Um, that's a good question. Um, I would say all of the above.
Okay.
Um, what happens when a woman that's dating and she's single and she goes in and she discovers what her feminine dating archetype is? There are going to be certain gates that she has the opportunity to heal inside of her in order to heal those behaviors and those patterns that you talked about, Desmond. So
Right.
performing, for example, is a part inside of her or inside of a woman. I'm curious where this question came from now with you. Where did it come from before I get into that?
Well, because a lot of times,
Like, do
um,
you see yourself performing when you're dating or when you're
well, see, it's different. It's different for males, I think, because a lot of times with the way men look at it, or sometimes women as well, they feel like like certain things they say women do because it's about women's empowerment, and sometimes they say it's about stringing a man along, or making a man feel comfortable enough so you can have him in your web, for lack of better words, like having a man right where you want him. So
Mm,
which that's where I say the performing. So is it empowering for women, right? These feminine archetypes, or is it a performance to like a scripted role for like male's validation? Is it to stroke a man's ego? Is it
mm,
to make a man feel important, right? So
mm,
it's which one is the angle here? Is it women having these archetypes for enrichment and empowerment, or are they doing it to make a man feel important and valuable?
mm. Okay. Okay. Um, I have so many questions about you in particular, but I also want to I want to answer your question too. So
Gotcha.
anytime, like if we really, really look inside of ourselves, whether it be as women or as men, and we're trying to either subconsciously or unconsciously manipulate a situation or manipulate a relationship, again, this could be very subconscious and unconscious because, you know, I know women that are listening and they can go out there and they can get whoever they want. It doesn't, like it doesn't, that's not the issue. The
Right.
issue is more about what you just said, which is really, really pointed. Like it's very um insightful. Is the issue is not about that you can do it, but it's about the why. Why does manipulation or validation, why is that important to you or parts of you? Right. Like, for example, I went through a period like the chill woman, for example, and the feminine dating archetypes is there's a root cause wound inside of her of I'm not enough. So if I can
Right.
seek validation or if I can manipulate it so I can feel wanted or feel loved or feel chosen, even if it's with the wrong person, like that's where situationships come into play. Even if
Right.
it's with the wrong person, then yeah, I can feel loved and chosen for a minute, but then they go away or then they
Right.
leave or then they ghost. Right. So the real healing is the work inside of you about why you might be trying to quote unquote manipulate a situation or quote unquote manipulate a man or seek validation. And the real root cause work is why am I doing that? And what do I need to heal inside of myself so that I can be okay
Right.
and not having to do that kind of like that behavior. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. I mean, everything starts with self, anyways. And I say this all the time, everybody wants that validation. Everybody want that reassurance, including men. And, I've been around too many men that say, oh, I don't look for validation. That's bullshit. Or I don't look for reassurance, or I don't need a woman to protect
Yeah.
me. That's bullshit because, protection don't mean from physical harm, right? It could be emotional. It could be any type of danger, right? We want that security. We want that balance. So, I just really never understood why men are afraid to show that vulnerability, to show that weakness, not even weakness, that softer side. I never
Mm,
understood that, and I was just talking about that last night on a podcast. Like it's just so much, So a lot of people are wounded to some degree, and yeah, it just at the end of the day, we all want to feel wanted, loved, cherished, desired. So a lot of times in relationships, we do certain things where from the outside looking in, we might say it's manipulative or something like that because we always try to manipulate a situation, right? And manipulation is not necessarily a bad thing, right? Because I think all of us do it. Like
mhm,
we got a job. Whenever we got a job and we deal with people, we really don't want to deal with. We got to play the part. So it's
mhm,
manipulation. So even with kids, when we got kids, we manipulate the situation to get what we want and to calm the situation, right,
mhm.
with the kids. So manipulation is a natural thing. Like we all do it, and it's a lot of people that say, "I don't manipulate nothing." I don't. That's not true. Life is about manipulation to some degree.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
well, and also seeking validation is not a bad thing. Seeking that like
Right.
being validated by someone that is safe being validated by a person that, anyone really, is not a bad thing. With the hard thing is that seeking validation because you feel empty, that is where you get in trouble. And seeking validation from people, from the wrong people, that's where you get in trouble. And so, like, from where I'm sitting in our community, we help women pick the right people. We help women listen to their intuition so they can actually be validated without self-sacrificing, without self-abandoning. They can be validated by the right people. And that is a skill that, if you've been through some stuff in life, that is a skill that is open for reworking and rewiring, and really starting to listen to yourself about who you can trust and who you can't trust. And then that's where the good stuff comes in after you do that, is because we can actually start to be validated by people that value you, instead of be validated by people that don't value you. They just value your body, or they just value the image of you or the idea of you. Right. And that's where the really good stuff comes in. And go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, I agree with you. That's when the good stuff come in. But see, that's the thing. That's the thing about relationships and why it's so difficult, right? Because when we don't feel validated, and that's when it doesn't matter where it comes from. We just embrace it, we accept it, and that's sometimes it's negative. It's gonna be toxic. It's not gonna be coming from a good space, but it makes you feel good in the moment to get something that you've been desiring for so long. When those voids get filled in your life, it's just like nobody's gonna stop and say, wait a minute, I love this, but no. You know what I'm saying? When you love something, when you like something, when something make you feel that good, you embrace it, and that's struggles we go through in life, where we don't draw the line and say, I know it feels good, but it's not meant to be, So again, that's why relationships is difficult. Love is difficult. Just having a different person or have somebody in our lives is not easy. It's not an easy task.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I agree. And every relationship that you're going to get into, whether that be with a romantic relationship, whether that be a relationship with money, whether that be a relationship with self, whether that be a relationship with your purpose, or or your job or your coworkers, it's going to be a reflection probably of all the unhealed stuff inside of you. It's going to it's a call up. And the way I see it, it's a call up to heal, a call up to up level, a call up to transform, a call up to find out and become a different version of yourself than you have ever thought possible. And just it's like, are you willing to do the work inside of you to get there? And that's why patterns are so frustrating. Like, if you're seeing emotionally unavailable people coming to you when you're dating, if you're getting ghosted often, if you are sacrificing as a woman, or even a man, if you're sacrificing your body too quickly, getting intimate too quickly, even though you shouldn't be doing it, you do it anyways. These are just opportunities for healing.
Right.
I see you smiling over there. What you think?
When you were saying sometimes we use our bodies too quickly. I mean, hey, it's a natural thing of life. But anyways, back on track here. We was talking about manipulation a little bit. So, all right. So, do high value dating strategies promote healthy self-worth or encourage manipulative relationships?
Say that again. Do high value
dating strategies promote healthy self-worth or encourage manipulative relationships?
The first. So a high value dating strategy, from where I sit, is becoming high value yourself, inside of yourself. And what does that mean? I kind of have a problem a little bit, Desmond, with people just slinging high value man, high value this, high value that. Because what likely is happening in a woman's life is there's a misalignment in some respects with her behaviors, her emotions, her thoughts, or her limiting beliefs. Meaning that if she says that she's going to do something and she doesn't do it, then that's a misalignment. If she says that she wants to have positive thoughts, but all she's having is negative thoughts, then that's a misalignment. And so attracting a hot, quote unquote, high value man is less about the strategies and more about who she is. And so if you can't tell, what we do is we do the inner transformation to get the outer result. So high value is, are your actions, your behaviors, your thoughts, and your beliefs, like beliefs, I'm saying like at your core, do you believe that you are worthy? At your core, not in your head. A lot of women know that they're worthy in their head, but their behaviors don't line up with that worthiness.
Right.
Right? Whether that be accepting situationships when that's not really what she wants. That is a disconnect between I'm worthy and my behaviors.
Right.
And so I feel like I'm hitting something, but you're just not telling. You're holding it close to holding it close to the vest.
No. This ain't about me.
But I can see on your face. But that's where the misalignment is. So
Right.
if you are not attracting if you're looking for a quote unquote high value man, your opportunity is to become a high value woman inside of yourself first.
Right.
So like basic law of manifestation is as within, so without. So if there are patterns that you are attracting in your dating life that you are not liking, if as a woman, if you are wanting a masculine man, but all you're attracting is feminine man, then there's something that's happening inside of you that is driving that pattern. And so that is the work. That is always the work. Is the subconscious and unconscious patterning that likely comes from your past or things that have happened to you or your examples that have been set. And that the work inside of you that it's available. And we do this, in my community, is the healing work that's available in order to repattern and rewire so that you become the highest version of yourself. And then you attract that high value man. So it's less about strategies and more about transformation and more about becoming the woman that God is calling you to be. God, universe, spirit, higher power, love, whatever word that you'd like to use.
I got you. So I know what my definition of high value is to you. How would you break down in simple terms high value? What a high value woman is or high value man is?
Sorry, you broke up a little bit. You said how would I define that?
Yeah, because I know how I look at it, right? But I don't know if that's the same way you see it. So for you, when you hear high value, what does that mean to you?
For me, it's the feminine dating archetype of the magnetic woman, which is the target. Like that's the end of the road. That's the woman that I aspire to be. I'm not 100%, right? Like I'm not perfect by any means. I'm still a human, but it is the woman that I am most of the time. And that it's the highest version of myself. That doesn't mean that I've like reached a pinnacle where I don't have healing left to do, because I always do. I always go deeper. I always transform. I'm always pushing, the limits and the edges inside of myself so that I can be more on purpose, be more aligned with who I am, with everything, money, relationship, self, God, all those things. But the high value for me is the magnetic woman archetype. And the magnetic woman archetype, she's a woman who knows who she is and what she wants.
Mm.
It's more than just like a mask of confidence, but it's in her cells, in her heart, in her soul, and in her being. It's knowing that she is enough just as she is, which is a very, if women are completely honest, that is a very, very hard place to be. Talk about
Right.
performing, talk about, all the things that she has been striving for her whole life, and she's probably gotten very, very good at, to make her feel like she's enough. But the magnetic woman knows who she is, and she is enough inside of her core and her being. And she knows this. It's moved from her head to her body. And she knows that she's enough by her actions. Her actions and her behaviors, her thoughts and her beliefs are in alignment. Again, there's no misalignment. There's no like, well, I know I'm enough, but I'm going to go do this that actually shows that I'm not enough. Like, again, sleeping with somebody really quickly, even though when she knows that that doesn't serve her really in the long run, or saying yes to things that she really is, it's a no for her, or, her yeses line up with her yeses and her no's line up with her no's. She's connected to her intuition.
So in relationships, see, that could pose a problem though, because it's supposed to be give and take in a relationship. So you can have your yeses and your nos, but sometimes you gotta compromise.
Oh yeah, I agree,
So,
Desmond. I agree,
so
Desmond. There are people in this world like me. I don't know if you're this person, but I know somebody's listening that is like this, where I agree that there's compromise. And if a woman was ever like me and have been through some stuff, there's compromise, but then there's also swallowing your needs and your wants and desires, or not having any. And that is the work.
right.
And that comes from patterning in the past. In my childhood, it was not safe for me to have a voice. Therefore, I swallowed my voice. So, what you want in order to get to a place of compromise, both parties need to have needs and wants and desires. Fair to
Right.
say?
Fair. I mean,
Right.
that's what anybody in life. So yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Um,
So Allison asked, but if you compromise too much, then what? That is what I'm talking about, girl. If you feel like that you are always the one giving and the other person always is the one taking, then that is exactly what I'm talking about. Right? So what if you're at all like me, which I think that you are, Allison, is the work is about finding out who you are and what your needs and your wants and desires are, and then you can express them. But likely your needs and wants and desires haven't been safe inside of yourself, so they aren't even there in that relationship. So, and that is what we find out in the beginning. So it's like, I can tell you, Desmond, I knew my man was the one for me, not because of some like fairy tale, not because like people say, oh, when when I knew is when I started, when at the very beginning, when I spoke up for my needs and my wants and desires, even though it felt uncomfortable, and the way that he met me there, the way that he did not make me feel crazy, the way that he didn't try to change my mind, the way that he listened, the way that he celebrated me speaking up for myself and my needs and my wants and desires. And yeah, I hear you. Compromise absolutely is where you meet in the middle and you have that hard conversation of okay, this person has this person has this. How can we work it out together? But I'm talking about the woman that will over compromise in order to feel loved, validated, chosen, desired, etc.
I got you. So almost like a yes man.
Yeah.
Like no, under no circumstances, whether it's going to make my day or break my day, I'm just going to say yes, just for a bit of hope and happiness is what you're saying.
You got it. Yep.
Oh yes,
Those are
that's
the
that's
those are
that
the
that
women. Yeah.
yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem. I mean, nobody should be like that, whether man or woman. Like, you know what I'm saying? So hey,
Yeah,
those are those.
there's it's funny because um I have masculine dating archetypes as well. And one of those is like that's the buddy. The buddy man is like that's the yes man. It's like the buddy man is like
We
it's the
we
friend zone.
we yeah, we call them simps. Them
Yes.
simple men. I can't be that. Mm-mm. I am too strong and too dominant. And men were born to stand at the forefront. Men are supposed to be the natural leaders, and I couldn't have it any other way. Like I can't be yeah, yes, honey, yes, yes. Hell no, not me. I'm too strong for that. I mean, it's just who I am. I can't be one of them.
Yeah. Well, the world needs leaders for sure, male leaders for sure. So
Yeah,
that's the magnetic man. There's like the magnetic man and the magnetic woman. And when those two come together, I feel like that's when we're fulfilling God's purpose as a man and as a woman here on earth. And again, this is about becoming that person inside of you so that you can attract what you're wanting on the outside.
got you. So why is knowing that you need more self-love not enough?
Ooh, that's a good question, Desmond. So I feel like it was revolutionary maybe like 10 years ago or 15 years ago where, people were like, oh, like in order for people to love you, you really have to love yourself. And that was like, it was kind of revolutionary at the time. And then today it's pretty messed up because what if you have been through some stuff in your life, and whether you know it or whether you don't, but if you're seeing patterns that aren't like fulfilling for you inside of yourself or outside of yourself, there's something happening there. There's something in there. And loving yourself is not just going to, go in and taking a bath. Or loving yourself is not just going to like go get your nails done. Or loving yourself is less about what you do, but it's more about your relationship to all of the different parts inside of you that have been screaming for you to look at and heal and love in a different way. And here's just like knowing that you need more self-love and trying to give it to yourself. Most likely, if you have been through some stuff in your life, and stick with me here, love has been a transactional relationship. People say conditional or unconditional love. So if you've been through some trauma, if you've been through some abuse, even if you've been like a high achiever in your life and you've achieved to get validation, validation equals love, then love has been transactional, meaning that if I do something, then I'm going to feel love. If I
Right.
get straight A's, then I'm going to feel love. If I fill in the blank, then I'm going to feel love. So what self-love has turned into today is a transactional relationship inside of yourself. And I see a lot of people listening. I'm going to ask you, those people that are watching and listening right now, type a yes in the chat if you want someone to love you for who you are and not what you do. Type a yes in the chat. I just want to see. I want to see who's out there. Is that okay, Desmond? I'm kind of like taking over here.
No, you're not taking no. That's fine. I mean, hey, that's good. But that's a yes for me. I mean, who would say the opposite? I don't. I
Yeah,
don't get
you
it.
would think so. You would think so. But I can almost guarantee you that love is a transaction, meaning it's conditional. And so,
Right.
in order to attract unconditional love, which is what everybody wants. Like, I see you people in the chat. If you want to attract unconditional love, then your opportunity is to have unconditional love inside of yourself. And that is very, very hard, especially if we grew up in a transactional environment when it comes to love. Meaning, ladies, you can go get your nails done, but that doesn't mean that you're going to love yourself anymore necessarily. Right. Ladies, you can go take a bath. Like, self-care is less about self-love. Self-love to me, I can give you what self-love to me means. Self-love to me means speaking up for my needs and my wants and desires, knowing what my needs and wants and desires are, setting boundaries and sticking to them, and being on purpose, and framing my life in connection and in love, and doing everything towards that purpose. And so it's really about doing the inner work about what love really means to you inside of yourself. Because again, if you've been through trauma, if you've been through abuse, anything like that in a relationship or in your childhood, then love is going to mean pain, hurt, or something where it just doesn't feel good. And so the work is actually transmuting what love actually means inside of you first, and then you can attract unconditional love on the outside of you.
Great. I agree. All right. So let me ask you this. Why is dating so hard, and why does frustration with dating make sense?
Oh, dating. So everyone will tell you that dating is hard because the apps suck. People will tell you that dating is hard because there aren't reliable people out there. People will tell you, and you will tell yourself, like, if you had another dating expert on the show and you can talk, like, you would talk about doomsday. You would talk about, oh, you can't trust anybody out there. You would say, oh, the dating pool is really thin. There aren't enough men in my town. You would hear about the divorce rates. You would hear about this more single men than single women, or whatever it is. I don't believe that. I believe the world is abundant. And I believe that if you are in alignment with yourself and with God, and you become the magnetic woman or the magnetic man that God is calling you to be, the abundance is there and available for you. People want us to stay in fear and scarcity because it serves something. And so It's not that dating sucks. It's that your experience with dating sucks. So the work is to change your experience.
Right.
So people will call all of those things, Desmond, I don't know if you've heard this phrase before. People will call those limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs. And limiting beliefs in my world are protective beliefs. They're protective, meaning that there's a story that each of us holds, or different stories that each of us holds about love and relationship, about trying, about being open and vulnerable and available, truly, not fake, but truly. And most likely it coincides with fear that I'm going to do the same thing again. Fear that I'm going to be hurt again. Fear that I'm going to pick the wrong person again. Fear I'm going to look like a fool again. Fear I'm going to be ghosted again. Right?
Right.
And so the story is that dating sucks, but the work is how do you change your experience?
Right. But that's the thing though. But fear is hard to conquer. I mean, I have my fears. Fears, insecurities, however you want to put it. But the thing is, I'm a firm believer that a closed mouth don't get fed. I'm a firm believer that, like, you gotta face that fire in order to achieve greatness.
Mm.
So if you're scared of that fire, you never, try it out, test it out, test your bounds with it, then you're gonna be complacent, right? So sometimes you got to take the leap of faith to achieve that ultimate goal, right?
Mhm.
You have to. When people say no, you gotta open another door and hope for a yes. And that's where I stand in my life. It's a lot of times I felt defeated, but I was like, nope. I have a purpose, and you mentioned God. You asked me if I was religious or spiritual. I just started my spiritual journey like almost 3 months ago, and
Nice.
so yeah, I'm a Christian. I go to church now, and
Nice.
it's crazy. I said that as an adult, I would never step foot in the church, and somebody says to me a while ago, don't tell God what you're not going to do, because He gonna find a way to tell you the devil's a lie. So and the proof is in the pudding. Here I am doing something I told God I wasn't going to do. So
Yep, that's so true.
but it's been an amazing feeling, and this is the thing. Like, I know just because a door closes, maybe several doors close, don't mean it's the end of the road. I just got to keep pushing it, and that's that determination. Sometimes you just gotta stand 10 toes down and just put in that work, as we always talk about. So
Yeah, totally. I agree. I agree.
now I know you need to get out of here. I just want to ask you one last question before we close. Um, why does relationship advice feel so bad?
Mm. Well, I can put it pretty directly because I do have to go. And relationship feels advice feels bad because it's surface level, especially if you are seeing patterns that you don't like inside of yourself and outside of yourself. Like, if someone says just go be yourself, if someone says there are many fish in the sea, if someone says, oh, just change this picture on your dating profile, you can try all that stuff, but a pattern is a
Right,
pattern is a pattern is a pattern. A pattern is going to follow you whether you have, doesn't matter what picture that you have on your dating profile. Doesn't matter that, I remember when I was dating, people would tell me, oh, just don't go so deep on the first date. I'm a deep person, if you can't tell, and that's who I am.
yeah, yeah,
And the advice, when people come into my communities, Desmond, and ask me for advice, I tell them I can't give you advice that's going to change a pattern.
right,
The work inside of yourself is what's going to change a pattern. So it doesn't matter, if you do your hair a certain way. It doesn't matter if you have a list of questions you want to ask on the first date. It doesn't matter if you've written out a list of characteristics that you want in a person, but you're attracting the person that is not on like that list, because
right,
because it's something inside of you. And so dating advice doesn't work because it's surface level. Like, if you're really
yeah,
at a point, like you are, like, it seems like, Desmond, that you're like, you're kind of at this point in your life where you're going to go towards the things that are scary, which that's what I live by too. It's
yeah,
like, I know on the other side of that is so much greatness, so
right,
much fulfillment, so much availability, so much abundance and prosperity. Now that's the direction I go. But not everyone has that.
right,
But like, if you're getting dating advice and it's not working, it's because there are underlying things that are like screaming for you to heal
right.
and to have a new relationship with.
I got you. I got you. Well, listen, it's been an honor, and a pleasure, and a privilege having you on today. And I would definitely love to have a follow up piece, a part two or whatever. We can definitely schedule that. But that's going to conclude today's episode. I hope everybody enjoyed it, and come back for part two. Um, Continue to comment, like, share, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. And have a blessed day and enjoy the rest of your night.
Thanks, Desmond.
Have a good one.